Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, I'm still trying to recover from Handmaid's Tale. You guys, we don't review Handmaid's Tale here, but hopefully you guys watch that show. Episode 9, hands down, was one of the best episodes on that fucking show. When I tell you I cried, I screamed. I won't spoil it for those who have not watched, the show or whatever, but so good. It is a show that every woman needs to watch. Okay? I know it's going to increase your anxiety, but it's a show that everybody needs to watch. All right. But that's not why we're here, you guys. First story up, this Puffy case. I know you guys have been like me, and you've been watching the case either very closely or just kind of just scrolling on Instagram, social media. It's all over everywhere. I mean, it's on the news, it's on the entertainment shows, on the TV, it's on all over the internet, it's all over social media. It is the talk, and you cannot turn away. It is so salacious and scandalous and so just all the makings of a Hollywood like blockbuster, and it was real life. It was shit that we've heard for years and years and years, and to actually be able to hear the stories that support the rumors that we've heard over the years has been pretty fascinating, actually. I know I told you guys last week that I felt like he is going to jail. I still have that feeling. However, I don't know if I feel like they've been able to prove thus far that it has been racketeering, this whole RICO Act. The RICO Act kind of concerns me. And of course, you guys know I'm not a real rock star lawyer. So this is just from me watching lawyers and just kind of listening to their conversations. Listening to the testimony that the witnesses are saying on the stand and all that. It just don't seem like they've been able to prove thus far anyway that it's an enterprise. I think that's like the part that is making a lot of the lawyers anyway say like they don't think that they have seen him give that seen anybody give that type of evidence yet that would support like a business, an enterprise. The enterprise is a business, right? So they've been trying to say that Puffy had not just these freak offs with just him and Cassie. It wasn't just something that they were doing, but that it was a business, okay? Or that it was something that he had organized around him to support his bad doings with Cassie. To me, it feels like when you have a business, right, and you have people that work for you, and if they're labeled like an executive assistant or whatever, if they work for you, then they work for you. So that is the business. They work at Bad Boy for him, and so they're going to do what he asked them to do. I mean, can it be argued that of course they're going to do what he asked them to do because they work for him? Even though there were illegalities involved, like the drugs and, all that, it's not against the law to have threesomes. It's not against the law to do any of that stuff. So the sex and what he was doing with the Punisher and Cassie, that stuff is not against the law. It's more so they're trying to say the things that he did to be able to carry out these freak-offs. Having people set up the rooms, having people get the drugs, having people get the prostitutes, that is the part where I don't know if they've proven that, because when they talk, like Cassie, for instance, if she's getting the prostitute, she and him are with the prostitute, and it's not like a group. I think originally when this case came down, we were all thinking that it was like a whole bunch of people, and they had like this whole organized unit going, and it's not really exactly like that. It really is more so Puffy and Cassie, they used to like to, they was freaky, so they like to have these things with these other people. And at some point, it sounds like Cassie started to not enjoy them. Like, it sounded like she was really more so just going along either to please him, or to, or she was forced by him, or she felt obligated to him because of all the stuff that he's done for her or whatever. But, we still haven't quite seen anything that says that this is like an organized crime. So now they've got to like pinpoint what they can, what parts of the story that they're trying to say would be related to a RICO act. So for instance, when they're talking about RICO, they say extortion. They're talking about they're going to try to tie, well, a lawyer said that they probably are going to try to tie the mother's testimony about how they had to get $20,000. They had to open a home equity line of credit, or take a second out on their house so that they can pay him $20,000. He told them that they had to pay him $20,000 because he had to recoup some of the money that he had spent on Cassie. Okay, when really he was pissed about Cassie and Kid Cudi, trying to see each other back in 2008 it was 2011. So the parents sent him the money. Of course, he did send the money some days later. He sent it back, but that can probably be considered extortion. Now, is that a business, or is that just one time that he did it with the mother? Okay, but so it's just going to depend on how, I guess, maybe the way the lawyers present that to the jury, to whether or not they're going to say that that's like a part of a business. Then when you talk about kidnapping, we talk about seeing the video of Cassie when she's running from the hotel, when she's trying to get onto the elevator, and he runs out there, he beats her up in the in that hallway. We see all that on the camera, and then he drags her by her hair back out of the camera frame. Well, that can be considered kidnapping, holding somebody against their will. And so they might be using, like, they might try to use maybe specific moments. Like, there are specific moments that they've explained that Puffy has done things that you can say, well, yeah, that is sort of holding a person against their will, and yeah, that is extortion and all that. But is it an enterprise? Okay, I almost feel like if we were to rewound this whole case, rewound everything back when Cassie was writing her book, and she originally approached Puffy and said, I'm gonna write this book, but you can give me $30 million and then I'll give you the book. And he decided not to. I kind of wish that the feds hadn't picked up the case, and that it could have actually went to just a criminal case. Because if we could have had a criminal case of him just being, of them pressing charges against domestic violence, which, like people have said, that's like a slam dunk. We all know that he'd been beating her ass. There was no way that they could get out of him not admitting that he beat her ass. He had done it too many times. Too many people had seen it. It was too many witnesses. There was no way that they can say he didn't do it. So now the angle is, we can say, I'm sorry, I bit my tongue. So we can say, I just lost my train of thought. Gotta stop the fucking video. I promise you don't get old, child. Just lose my train of thought. But what I was saying was, we can say, I forgot that fast again. We can say that he was an abuser, because that's not what he's being charged with. Okay? So we can sit up here in this court case the whole time and be like, yeah, he beat her ass. He did this. He's a horrible person. Everybody knows it. Y'all all gonna get all that information. There's gonna be many witnesses that get up here and say, he did A, B, C, and D. Okay? He's bad. He's evil. He's terrible. But he don't have an enterprise. And I think that that's what the defense is trying to, that's the angle the defense is using, because they've already admitted, yes, he is, he did beat her up. And so I'm thinking, like, if they would have went to criminal court and pressed charges that way, then maybe we would have been able to get him charged for domestic violence. Okay, I feel like maybe the feds, did they reach too big? I mean, the lawyers anyway are saying at this point they still feel like, you know, if they were to end the case today, they haven't proven. Most people are saying they haven't proven that it was, you know, these RICO charges. Okay, so even though everybody is like he didn't did all of this shit and stuff, that's not what the charge is. And so you gotta be, I guess you're being held accountable to whatever the charge is. Now, maybe if he isn't found guilty with the feds, and I guess the state or something will pick up the case, and maybe it will eventually get to a criminal case. Is that how it will work, Rockstar lawyers, real Rockstar lawyers out there? And then now, so is this him right now is just fighting for him to stay out of jail for the rest of his life? Because when you got a RICO act and all these accusations that they have against him, he's looking at a whole bunch of years, and like over 100+ years life in prison kind of thing. So he's just trying to stay his ass out of jail for life, you know. But he might still have problems maybe in the future, because maybe it will become a criminal case. Real Rockstar lawyers, you guys will have to let me know. But Kid Cudi is testifying probably right now as I speak. I just looked at some of the notes that the Shade Room had posted, and he was giving his testimony saying that he had met Cassie in 2008. They started dating in 2011. And they were trying to keep it on the hush because even though she wasn't seeing Puffy no more, he was still around, and he was a menace. And so I guess they were sneaking, trying to see each other. Puffy found out. She called him at like 5:30, 6 in the morning, and told him that Puffy had found out about them, and he was mad, and could he come get her? And so he did. But apparently he had a conversation with Puffy on the phone, and Puffy was like, you know, he was just like, you can come over to my house. And Puffy said he on his way. And then he thought about it like, wait a minute, like this nigga is coming. I don't know if it's just gonna be him. Most likely it's not gonna be just Puffy. Okay. So then he thought, you know, he thought about it again, like I might be walking into some shit that I don't need to be doing. So he called the police. He made a report. I don't know. They didn't say nothing about a payoff or anything. So I'm thinking to myself, like, so what happened after, you know, after that? Like, did Puffy pay him off? Because why hadn't we never heard anything else about it? Kid Cudi said he wanted to fight him, but again, you can't fight a bullet. And you can't fight 6 big niggas that's coming over there. So anyway, you guys will have to let me know if you feel like so far Puffy has, I mean, you know, that the prosecution has shown a business, an enterprise. Okay. I guess defense, because it feels like defense could just argue that those people that were doing those things for him, for the company, just worked for him. But I guess that's what they're saying. They're saying Bad Boy was used as a shell to cover, to not necessarily shell or cover what they were really doing, but in addition to what they were doing, they also were doing this illegal shit over here too. Okay. And that's why Bad Boy is wrapped up in it as well, because he was using all his employees. But thus far we've heard some celebrity names and all, but there's no celebrities that were involved in these freak-offs, and it doesn't look like it was. I know that Troy, one of the rock stars yesterday, was asking me if I had heard that Jamie Foxx was supposed to be testifying and saying that Puffy had poisoned him. I hadn't heard that. I haven't seen that anywhere, but apparently it's going around. I don't know that to be true. I don't know if Jamie Foxx is on the witness list. I had thought I heard somebody say that there were no celebrities, none of these celebrities that we've heard, Michael B. Jordan, Usher, Justin Bieber, and all that, like none of them are going to be in court. I don't know if Jamie Foxx is, but I would be willing to bet that he's not, because I haven't heard that. But maybe there may be more. Maybe you guys might know, so you guys can weigh in on that. But again, Puffy is just a horrible person. Damn, this court case, while if Puffy is found innocent and, is able to live his life free again, I really wonder how people are going to accept him and if people are going to be fucking with him the way that they was before, because this nigga is fucking crazy. That whole conversation when they had the bodyguard talking about when they went to Mel's Diner, let me just tell you guys, side note, just a quick story time, not really a story time, but we used to love to go to Mel's Diner specifically for these type of antics. My friend Kathy, God rest her soul, when we were younger, we weren't friends as adults, but when we were younger, we were friends as adults, but young adults. But as a young adult, Kathy used to love to get into trouble. She was that friend that was pretty, was always going to say something to the boys. The boys was always going to say something to her. She was outspoken. We always liked to, Kathy was the one. So we used to go up there, me and Kathy, and I was always younger than everybody, so I was just kind of tagging along. But yeah, Mel's Diner used to be fun. And it used to be all them death row people used to always be at Mel's Diner. And yeah, we used to hang out there. I have some stories, but on second thought, maybe some of those stories don't need to be it ain't my stories to tell. But yeah, we used to have fun at Mel's Diner. But that story when the security guard was talking, the bodyguard or his security detail was talking about how, some of the guards had went to Mel's Diner and saw Suge and his people up there. So they rushed back and told Puffy that they were at the diner. And so Puffy wanted to go back up there, and they had then went and got the guns and shit and picked up Puffy. Cassie didn't want him to go, but he went. And by the time they got back up to Mel's Diner, Suge and all of them were gone. They drove around looking for Suge and all that shit. I was just like, these motherfuckers was looking for, but it was a wild time back there, child. It was some wild days. And me and my friends used to always try to be right up in the middle of it, child. We used to go up to death row and look at, try to see who we could see. It used to be right there on Fairfax. So we used to just go up there and hang out in the area and walk around. Boy, to be young in LA in the 90s, honey. Anyway, but yeah, when he was talking to the guard was like, we went up there and he was terrible. He was scared. He was like, Puffy made it seem like he didn't have a choice and was like, come on, let's get the fuck up there. He said real aggressive language. You already know Puffy is already aggressive, loud. He liked to tell people what to do and order them around and all that. So he was just like, he didn't feel like he had a choice. So he felt forced. So that's also another way that they can say that he was making his employees do these things. We'll see. But yeah, Mel's Diner used to be some good times. Good times. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think about all that. I didn't want to make this video all about Puffy. Because it's gonna be Puffy for the next couple of weeks. I heard something about the prosecution is gonna be resting soon. And I was like, well, if they're going to be resting soon, I'm still waiting for the real big, like the cliffhanger. I'm waiting for it, y'all. We ain't got it yet, but we'll see. I'm going to lose this here. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think about all that. Then, what else? Aubrey O'Day. At first, I thought that she was trying to plead the fifth or some shit when she said that she was not testifying. Apparently, it seems the prosecution did not even add her to the witness list. They said they didn't need her testimony, I guess because they already had Don Richard's, and maybe they either didn't need, or Aubrey's testimony could have been problematic, maybe. Not really sure. But Aubrey now has a podcast where she is discussing the case every day. Apparently there's a lot of people, there's so much money to be made off of this case. So many people are talking about this case. But yeah, we'll be talking about it every week, so ain't no sense in sitting up here making this whole video be about Puffy, because it's just gonna be more on the next one, y'all. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think. How you feeling? You feeling like Puffy might be going to jail for this RICO thing? Remember what the charges are, you guys. We're not talking about domestic violence. We are not talking about domestic violence. We was talking about specifically the racketeering, the RICO Act. Racketeering and criminal enterprise, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you guys let me know what what you think about all of that, and we gonna move on to the next story. All right, you guys. So next story, Chris Brown. They say that Chris Brown has been released on bail out there in where was he, in England? Amsterdam. I think it was Amsterdam. Wherever he was overseas, you guys know. He was over there. Remember, he's doing the Breezy Bowl. This is the celebration of his 20 years, his 20-year career in music. Hello? Hey. A video. Why, what's up?
I was laughing because on your story you was listening to that song.
What, baby girl? Oh, Weird Whammy? They play that shit on the radio all the time out here now. Weird Whammy. I mean, they play it all the time. It's even on the commercials. Whoever them girls are, they coming up.
I told you.
Weird Whammy.
The girls on the song, they fell out.
They fell out?
Already, yeah.
Already? Probably over some money. So they not together no more? So it's just a one hit wonder, huh?
Yeah, but it's basically gonna be that because they don't understand what they could have been together, like.
Right. They could have milked that and kind of, you know, they could have got a few dollars out of it. They might not be no rappers, but they could have did something because that song is popular. It's really popular right now.
Exactly. Like they could have they both doing separate bookings, they be fans online and stuff.
Oh really? Oh, that's too bad. Are they young?
Yeah, they like 21.
Oh yeah, they real young. Well. All right. Well, let me finish doing it. To the who? Did I even end the Puffy? Oh no, I was talking about Chris. Okay, I don't know where I was, so let me start over. Chris Brown, remember he was arrested overseas. When he went over there, he was starting his tour for the Breezy Bowl, his 20th anniversary of being Chris Brown, okay? The musician, the artist, the singer extraordinaire, the dancer, the everything, okay? He's celebrating Breezy Bowl 20 years. He got over there and he was arrested for a 2023 incident where he grabbed a bottle and busted old Abe, what is his name? Abe Diaw, D-I-A-W. Hit him over the head, okay? Could have killed him. Okay, you can't just be hitting the bottles, just the shit that you saw on TV. Those are breakaway bottles. They are very, very thin. It's not going to do anything. You hit somebody with a big ass Corbel bottle, you gonna fucking might kill them. Okay, at least a concussion at the very, very least, but you could kill somebody that way, you know, so it's very dangerous. I guess he had a warrant, but he hadn't been over there, so they couldn't serve the warrant or whatever. So when he got over there now, they arrested him. He was in jail. At first they were denying bail, but they finally did give him bail, and he was out in time, you know, so that he can continue on with his tour. He had to pay $6.7 million, and I don't know what this means. Does this mean he has to go back, or is, you know, I'm sure that his lawyers are going to be working on it. Chris Brown is no stranger to the court system, legal things, people trying to sue him and all that. So I'm sure his lawyers are working out on it, you know, working on it. But yes, they did finally offer him bail. The pressure, I think, was on because everybody had bought all these damn tickets. And very much like when they tried that shit with Nicki Minaj, and you know, Nicki Minaj had, I think, wasn't Nicki Minaj in Amsterdam too? Was this Amsterdam that he was in? I don't remember the city. Y'all gonna be mad at me. But anyway, I don't remember where he was, but I don't remember the country where he was, but you know, it's like that same thing. Like, all these people are excited about you coming to perform, and then they fuck around and get arrested. So you got thousands and thousands of people that are just pissed. All right, you got an arena that probably is just like, we need our artists. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. So they was like, okay, we will offer the damn bail. We're going to hijack that fucking bail. We're going to skyrocket the price, okay, and then he can go. $6.7 million. That is a whole bunch of money. But you know, Chris Brown has it, so that's that. But he was in jail since May 15th, so he had been in jail for a week, and I guess, well, at least a week. I mean, almost a week, and so yeah, he's out in time. He will make it to his sold-out concert in Amsterdam on June 8th. No, this wasn't in Amsterdam. This was in England. I think it was North England, now that I think about it, okay? But our boy is out, and he will be performing. All right? You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to end it here. Because the other stories... Yeah, let's put all the rest on the other video. Okay, we do this every week, single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.